Welcome to the latest webcast in Caring.com's Digital Marketing Academy. Our session today is focused on maximizing online marketing for senior apartments and 55 plus or 62 plus communities. I'm Denise Grob, a marketing director here at Caring.com, and I'm joined by my esteemed colleague, Peter Drouet, who I'll introduce in more depth in just one moment. Before we dive into the presentation though, want to make sure we cover a few housekeeping items. This is a one-way webcast where only the presenters speak, but we definitely want your questions. You can ask them anytime during the presentation using the Q&A module or the chat module, whichever is more convenient for you. We will have a Q&A toward the end, and if we don't get to your question, we'll follow up with you afterward. The number one question we get with every session is the session being recorded? The answer is yes. You may see a red dot in the upper left. We are recording the session, and we will also make the slides available to you as well. You can move forward, Peter. Thank you so much. The sponsor of today's webinar is Caring.com. For those of you getting to know us, and as a refresher for our partners, our organization was founded by caregivers for caregivers. Our flagship website, Caring.com, was created and launched in 2007 to equip family caregivers to make better decisions, save time and money, and feel less alone and less stressed in providing senior care to their loved ones. Today, millions of people come to our website to research and get referred to senior living communities and home care agencies, and now we have a whole portfolio of websites as well. In fact, we have one of the most comprehensive senior care directories on the web and are the #1 source of senior living reviews online, with about 265,000 consumer reviews posted today, and we add thousands each month. That's just a high-level overview. Peter's going to take you into more detail about our organization in the coming slides. This is Peter. He is our featured presenter today. Some of you may be familiar with him given his extensive experience in our industry. For instance, he helped build both the Seniors Choice and Hallmark Home Care, two organizations through which he trained hundreds of locations nationwide. He was one of the original trainers of Caring's team of family advisors, making referrals to senior living community. He is a renowned trainer in sales and marketing, proven track record in multiple industries, has a wealth of knowledge, and besides being a phenomenal professional, he's an all-around great guy. Love working with him. Some really great stories. Leave you with both a smile and nuggets of truth. This is what we're going to be covering today: the changing 55 plus market, the SEO landscape for senior living, very important, and the power of consumer reviews and how you can be better seen by your target audience. So without further ado, I turn it over to you, Peter.
Well, fantastic. Thank you very much, Denise. It's a pleasure. And thank you for all the nice things you said about me. Always good to know that some people like me, right? So some people do, some people don't. You never know. Hopefully more like me than don't. So welcome, everybody. It's my pleasure, and I'm excited to share with you today a few tidbits about some changes in the marketplace, about how to position yourself properly. And again, we're focused today primarily on the segment of senior apartments, i.e., age-restricted 55 plus, 62 plus senior apartments or lifestyle, communities for seniors. Obviously, that also can include and go into what we generally term as independent living, although independent living typically has more activities, more services available, and then it flows into what we know as assisted living. And as Denise said, we have a unique perspective on all of these markets because we operate the largest sites on the internet for senior living in general. That includes senior apartments as well as independent assisted living, memory care, and all the way through skilled nursing. We have millions of people who search for all of these options. And so we see all the trends, we see all the numbers, we see who's searching for what, why they're searching. We speak to hundreds of thousands of them every single month through our family advisors. And so I want to share some insights with you that can better help you to position your community and attract the kind of people that you want. So let's start by talking about this segment of the market, the 55 plus senior apartments or senior lifestyle communities. The big question is, are you being seen by your target audience? And so let's start with just a general idea of the continuum of care, which most of you are very aware of. I'm not, this isn't new for any of you, but unfortunately, most of us aren't focused on that continuum of care when we go to advertise. A lot of us that have been in the 55 plus senior apartments, either managing, owning, property management, or leasing up these communities, we tend to go after the general apartment market. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there are eyeballs out there. So we tend to go to the sites such as the apartments.com or rent.com or Apartment Finder. Many of them are actually owned by, one central group, but we tend to go to these sites across the net. There's quite a few of them. They're good sites, but they're not really our key audience. They tend to focus on the younger crowd. They tend to be the group of people that are looking for apartments in general, including, the kids right out of home going to college, right? Including people, young professionals. They get all age ranges. And so it's good to be on these sites, but it's not really the key demographic by and large that we're looking for. You can certainly find people there, and you can certainly attract some. But again, there's a continuum of care that we need to understand, and we need to understand how to play for our ideal client. So in that continuum of care, we know that there are living options for younger people, as I've just mentioned. There's certainly apartment complexes and homes and condominiums and you name it for younger crowds, ranging from single young people all the way through, married with children and up through that 55 plus contingency. But when we get to that point, it's a different continuum of care than what many of us are focused on, right? We start with what's called that 55 plus retirement community, and that is simply age-restricted apartments or age-restricted living, whether it be homes or apartments or townhomes, condominiums. And it's simply an age restriction to make sure that people are living in an environment with people of like mind and like age, and can find friends and be in a community where they feel at home. Those 55 plus retirement communities, many of you are involved in very beautiful, quite nice communities. There's also a lot of them that certainly are meant for low income and things of that nature. So there's a wide mix and wide range in terms of the socioeconomic and demographic status of these communities, but they all share one thing in common. They have a minimum age, right? 55 tends to be a common one. 62 tends to be another common minimum age. Some place it at 65. But if you're associated with apartments or homes or a community that has a minimum age to it, then that's who we're talking about. And that's a specific group. Now, I happen to be part of that group. I'm in that 55 plus category. And so I know, my wife and I have actually looked at many communities in this range, knowing that we don't really want to go to be, we don't want to look up apartments with everybody else, all our kids that are looking for, which one has the pool with the hottest young boys and girls there, right? That's not our scene. And so what we're looking for is something where we can be with like-minded people, and that's the age group that we're looking for. Now, that progresses into what's known as independent or retirement living, which is, again, the lines are blurred these days. A lot of people offer a lot of different things. But the traditional sense of independent living is that in addition to simply restricting the age and offering a good living, a good apartment or home, independent living also offers activities, also offers often some security, some transportation, some meals on site occasionally, right? There's other amenities that cater to a senior group. And that's the big difference as we step from 55 plus or 62 plus retirement communities into that senior independent living or retirement living. So there's many national brands that focus on independent living and retirement living. And we certainly work with all of those brands. We see those numbers come through. We have thousands upon thousands of people every day and every single week that are looking for both of these genres, 55 plus, and then also independent living. That then moves on into assisted living. Assisted living is, again, at least one activity of daily living needs constant help. There may be some minor memory impairment, but mostly it's that we need help with something. We need help with ambulation. We need help with dressing, bathing, doing any number of personal care items, or we're simply looking for that additional, medication management occasionally, non-medical assisted living, help with activities of daily living, personal care and companion care that can be offered on site. And then finally, we get into what is skilled nursing, meaning that it requires licenses and degrees in order to afford the care that is rendered. So this is the continuum of care. Not everybody goes through every step perfectly, but this is what we're looking for. And so the question is, if I find myself at this 55 plus retirement community stage, if that's the type of property that I own or manage, am I being seen by the right people? Well, we own this market, so we know all about it, and we know all about how to get to it in terms of the internet. So let's talk more about how to position yourself for this market, because I would venture to say that many people that own these properties are not positioned properly. So what do we know about this market, this 55 plus market? Again, I happen to be part of this market, so it's easy for me to talk. Many of you on the line might also be part of this market, so we're talking about ourselves. So who are we? We're different than generations past, by the way. There's a big shift going on in the market in terms of who's in the market and how we behave and what we do. First of all, one of the big shifts is that we are increasingly still taking care of our parents. Because people are living longer, our parents, for instance, my parents, my mother is still with us and she's in her 80s, and I handle a lot of her affairs. In fact, Denise and I, before this call, we're just talking about, how that's going. And many of us in this 55 plus are taking care of parents while still being professional and working and being very busy, right? We're still working, and we're often part of this sandwich generation that we've talked about, right? We have, older teenagers or young adults at home. I've got one in college and one that was in college and is back home, because of the pandemic and going back out soon. So, it's a transitional thing where we're taking care of both parents and kids at times, right? We're sandwiched in between. Now, part of that is that we're less attached to a house. This is a big shift in recent years, in that the vast majority of people, in ages past, in generations past, the home was everything. You got to keep the home. We tend to be a lot more focused on the finances involved, and if it makes sense to sell the home and downsize, we often are looking for that. We're looking to downsize. We're looking for the carefree lifestyle. I don't know that I want a huge yard to mow every weekend. I don't know that I want a lot of upkeep and maintenance. And so we're looking for a carefree lifestyle, one that we can still be very professional, very busy, love to enjoy ourselves, travel, would love to mix and mingle with people of our own age. We're also, as a generation, very educated and very independent. Obviously, that's, each individual is different, but as a generation, much more educated and very independent. We tend to be a little cynical, a little distrustful of, traditional authority figures. So we don't do what everybody tells us to do all the time. So when it comes to finding where to live and what to do, what do? We go to the internet, right? We research and we do our own research before calling anybody. So the internet is becoming a huge thing. Now, it used to be not long ago that if I were looking to downsize or do something of that nature, I would rely on my old network, right? I would, it's a good old boys, good old girl network where we'd go and talk to all of our friends in the community and all the realtors we know, and we'd do all that. And that still happens. But more and more, we're relying less on that, and more we're pulling out that computer in our pocket, the phone, right? Or getting to our computer itself, and we go searching, because the internet has just been a godsend in terms of information. When we search, though, we're searching differently than even just a decade ago, right? You all know this because you're doing the same thing. We're not looking at individual websites as much anymore. We all assume that your website is meant to sell us. So we know that your website's going to present your community in the best light, have the best pictures, all those kinds of things. We're looking to find out, what do other people say? So we rely heavily on consumer reviews. That has been a huge deal in the last decade, especially even just the last 5-7 years. It has really made a big difference. We'll talk more about that as we move forward and how you can position yourself that way. Caring.com and our affiliated sites, but Caring in particular happens to be the #1 place, as Denise said, for online consumer reviews of senior living. And so we'll talk about that. We don't always trust your website, but we do trust those reviews, and we do look for third-party in this case, the family advisors that we have at the company, or the listing services that we offer. So that's the marketplace. So when you're thinking about how do I attract this marketplace, there's certainly a lot of offline things that you can do. And there's certainly, we recommend and we, want all of the good marketing to surface and to be there. But online, you've got to be where they're looking. And so I can tell you that not only am I looking for myself online, but I'm also looking for my parents, for my mother in this case, but also for seniors in general, because we're engaged in taking care of them. So where are they looking? Well, here's the key. If you want to attract this crowd, step number one is to be seen on all the sites that specifically cater to seniors. Again, many of us are good at sort of the apartment marketing. Many of you might be property managers that market other apartments that aren't age restricted. And so we're good at that. But are we being seen on the sites that specifically cater to seniors? There's not that many of them. And guess what? We tend to control a lot of them. So we want to showcase our properties there in a way that is enhanced, a way that has a good presence. We're going to get into what people look at, what they're attracted to, how they choose based on what they see online. We've got all those statistics and details for you as we go through here in the next few minutes. And then finally, you want to build your online consumer reviews. We're going to talk a lot about how to do that. Okay. Now, let's talk about seniors on the internet. Where are people going for senior living? You've got to be where they're looking. I'm not going to look for young people's apartments, right? I am going to look for senior living for my mother. I am going to look for housing options for myself, senior living for myself, or apartments condos, communities that I might move into with my wife. So where are we going on the internet? Well, we are going primarily to caring.com and our affiliated sites. So Denise mentioned that we've been around for a number of years. We started with a social mission, and that was to provide information for people seeking to be a caregiver, seeking to help those that they love. And that has grown and morphed into the point where caring.com actually now is more than just one website. We own many websites. There's quite a number of URLs or websites that we own. And we also are affiliated with a couple dozen affiliates that we have that either feed traffic through our call center or feed traffic through our sites, or just flat out white label our directory into their sites. For instance, US News and World Report, they have a whole senior nursing home and senior housing section on their site, but it's actually our directory that they leverage to do that. We have many affiliates like that, and we have many others that have their own directory, but then funnel things back through us. This is a recent snapshot of search engine optimization on the net for different senior related websites. On the vertical side is all the keywords that we rank #1 for. On the horizontal is the search visibility, the number of times we're seen. You can see that caring.com is 2.5, 3 times the nearest competitor, and eclipses everybody in terms of #1 rankings. But what's interesting here is we own everything that's in green. So if it's in green, this is a site that is part of our portfolio. So Senior Housing Net, we're going to talk more about. It's a great site for senior apartments as well as other, senior living. So Senior Housing Net is second in terms of keywords, third in terms of search visibility. Senior Advice is ours. We have some of these other dots in here. Senior Homes is the next one here, and senior and Paying for Senior Care is one of them, and assistedliving.org, and I could go on and on. There are many that don't show up because they're slightly off this scale here. So the bottom line is that we own the internet when it comes to search visibility and keyword searches. In many places, most places, we wind up #1. In fact, let me show you this. So this was a recent deal we did. Actually, I need to update this. This was October of last year, but it's done nothing but get better. Assisted living, I just, randomly, I selected Jacksonville. I do this all over the country, and we show up 4 out of the top 5 with our different sites. Every one of these sites on here in green is one of our sites. And so if you look for assisted living, you're going to land on one of our sites. It's almost inevitable. This was for independent living. I did this one in Charlotte. And again, we were #1, #2, we were #5, we were #7, right? And we could go on from there. We have huge monthly traffic. This was just a one-time snapshot of traffic for just 1 month. And it's just absolutely amazing the traffic that we get. The question is, are you being seen when people are looking? That's the big question that we're asking. Now, we have two sites in particular that feature 55 plus senior apartments or 62 plus age restricted senior apartments, apartment complexes that are catering to people just like me and people in the beginning of that continuum of care. We're simply looking for a place that we can live within our peer group. So we have caring.com, obviously on the right here is huge traffic and great stuff. We'll talk more about it in just a moment. We also have seniorhousing.net, which was actually originally built by move.com, and they own several other sites, but we acquired them almost a year ago and have been working on building that up over time. So Senior Housing Net specifically, it was built by move.org. They have a very strong 55 plus and IL sections. They're the second highest in the market for SEO rankings, as you just saw. The listings have a lot of unique features. We'll get to that in just a moment. And all inquiries go directly to you. In other words, when you're listed on this site, there's a trackable phone number that routes right to you. The form fills go right to you. There's monthly reporting on traffic. It gets outstanding traffic and is seen by your target market. We also have caring.com, the other site that has a specific 55 plus audience on it. A long history of success. We've been around for quite a while. As you already saw, #1 in search engine rankings, huge directory in all different categories, but certainly 55 plus or senior apartments. Tens of thousands of articles. Lots of people come looking for information. We're #1 in senior care reviews, which we'll talk about more in a couple moments. And we have a team of family advisors that work with people that don't know what to do or where to go. We also have huge traffic, 3 times that of Senior Housing Net. And frankly, Senior Housing Net is one of the most highly trafficked sites on the internet among seniors and people looking for seniors. So on these sites, here's the step #2 is that you need to make sure that your listings are enhanced, whether it's our sites or any sites. Step #1 is ask yourself, am I being seen by the right people? Am I in the places on the internet where people of my age category go for a variety of reasons? Second question is, on those sites, do I appear the way I need to do? Am I enhanced? What do my listings look like? Am I really being showcased properly? So each site for us has a different look and feel, but we're built on a premise that we're kind of like the old phone book in the sense that we try to list everybody for free as what we call a basic listing. Those basic listings are simply like a telephone directory in the sense that it lists who you are and where you are. As long as we know you're in business, we'll put you in there, but it doesn't have any of the bells and whistles, right? Whereas when we partner with somebody, when they subscribe to our service, we enhance their listing, and what it looks like is that they can add multiple pictures. In fact, the more the merrier. One of the things that attracts people to you, in fact, we just got out of a meeting where we saw even more evidence of this, pictures, when people Google you or Google senior living of any sort, pictures make a big difference. So you can add multiple pictures, high quality pictures, updated pictures. You can update those pictures as often as you want. There's extensive descriptions that you can write and update over time. You can put in costs and payments and maps, and we have a whole mapping feature in there. There's a telephone number and website. We have a tracking number that goes directly to your phone number so that we can track exactly who's calling. We give you a report of that upon request. The website address is right there. You can put videos and so much more on these sites. But the key is you want to dress it up. You want to make it like a website within a website, because people are not finding your website the way that they might have in the past. What they're doing is they're going to aggregate sites like ours, directories like ours, because we show up #1 in the rankings and because they're looking for that comparison. They want to compare and contrast the different opportunities. So you want to build your listing in such a way that it attracts people. Caring.com versus Senior Housing Net. Here's all the features. I don't know that I'm going to go through every one of them. Again, traffic very large on both. We have a specific category on both of them, multiple pictures on both of them. Senior Housing Net, you've got the ability, there's a separate section for floor plans, and there's mapping and direction that's a little different. But then again, on caring.com, we have the whole reviews component, which is absolutely critical to your success in marketing online. So Tremendous features, differentiation, but both of them are phenomenal. We also have, when you subscribe, we have a senior living portal that allows you to do quite a bit to get to see referral reports, leads that are sent to you, people that are filling out forms and people that are looking for you online. Here's where you can update community profile and things like that. This is active for our caring listings. Again, we acquired Senior Housing Net, and we're slowly adding portal features for Senior Housing Net right now. But you have the ability to constantly update and keep your listings updated. So step number one is make sure you're seen in the right places. Step number two is make sure that you build a listing that really represents you well, has great pictures, great information, great content. And then here's the coup de grace. Here's the ultimate right now, is that right now the power of online reviews are critical, and the more you can boost your online consumer reviews, the better off you are. Fascinating statistics for you to take a look at here. According to Bright Local, which is a survey company, this is from towards the end of 2019. We'll get updated stats, but they're going to be even higher. 8 in 10 people trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations these days. When I first saw that stat, I thought, there's no way. But then the more I started thinking about it, and I started thinking about my own behavior, I do the same thing, and I'm the target market, right? If my best friend tells me to go see a movie, but I look it up online and everybody else hates it, I actually start to question the judgment of my friend before I question all the people online. About a year ago, our dishwasher went out, and my sister-in-law, my wife's sister, said, "Oh, you got to buy this dishwasher. I just bought it." My wife looked it up online and the reviews were terrible. And she said, "Well, we're not buying that dishwasher." And I said, "But it's your sister." She said, "Yeah, but my sister's wrong all the time." So online reviews are critical these days. It's the Amazon day and age, right? It's the day and age in which we trust the online reviews as much as personal recommendations. Now, check these stats out on the right here. Amongst US adults 55 plus, that's who we're talking about. That's our target audience here. 71% of them read online reviews of local businesses. That's staggering. 52% won't do business with anybody that has less than 4 stars, 4 out of 5. And most of them read an average of 7 reviews before they will trust the business, right? Before they decide this is a business I want to go investigate. So it's absolutely critical. And we see the same thing in our business. We track these numbers. Again, we have the unique vantage point of seeing exactly the whole sales cycle for our partners. And our partners include 55 plus senior apartments. They include independent living, assisted living, memory care, nursing homes, the whole continuum of care. We have partners across the spectrum. And guess what? When we have, these are listings, right? Enhanced listings. They've dressed up their listing with pictures and everything else. But if they have 1 or 2 reviews versus 15 or more, that's kind of the threshold we did for our study, we found a staggering difference in all these stats. First of all, 5 times more leads per listing, 7 times more tours scheduled, right? People visiting the property and touring, and 8 times the move-in volume simply for going from 1 to 2 reviews up to 15 plus, right, on the average. So the bottom line is that they have a huge impact. According to Bright Local, they have a huge impact in what we've seen throughout our studies of our tens of thousands of people that are listed with us. And it's what I call the modern day drive-by. Here's what's going on these days. We used to, in the real estate business, I've been in real estate for many, many years, been in senior living for many, many years. We used to call it the drive-by, right? People would, if they got referred to us, they would drive by first to see if they even wanted to stop and go check it out. You know what I'm talking about, right? You've done it. I've done it. We've all done it, right? We drive by the business, or especially in real estate, we drive by the community to see, do I even want to check this out? People aren't doing the traditional drive-by anymore, but they are still doing the drive-by. I call it the modern day drive-by, right? They're simply looking you up online, and they're looking specifically at the reviews that other people have, as well as your listing in general, the photos and the description and things like that. If you aren't getting 100% of the business that you think you should, you probably ought to check your online reputation. You're getting driven by many people. In fact, this stat is from Google. I think they have their own axe to grind, so you can take it for what it's worth. but they claim that 90% of today's buying decisions are made before even contacting the business. Again, let me repeat that. According to Google, 90% of today's buying decisions are being made before contacting the business. How are they making that decision? They're looking at your listings. They're looking at what you've written about yourself, your pictures, and most importantly, they're looking at the consumer reviews. They're doing a modern day drive-by and deciding, you know what, I think I'm going to buy this product. Now, for Google, this includes a lot of consumer products, and you can certainly, as I do, we can all poke holes in their stats. But I can tell you from personal experience, people are looking you up before they call you, even if they were referred to you, even if they know where you are, even if they're thinking, yeah, that might be a nice community. They're looking you up online first. They're looking at your listings and they're looking at your reviews. So how do we fix that? Well, the first thing is that caring.com is the #1 site for senior living reviews of all sorts. As Denise said, 265,000 and counting consumer reviews. Now, unlike some other sites that have gotten into the game late, we have a team that curates all the reviews. In other words, we have a team of live, real people, right? Not computer bots that actually take a look at reviews, make sure that they're consumer reviews, make sure that they're accurate. You have accountability, right? If there's a review posted that's not accurate, right? You've got somebody to go to, and we will investigate. And so unlike several others that are trying to do reviews out there, the reason that Caring has become such a huge place for people to get their information is because of the quality of the program. And by the way, Denise, who introduced me, is the person who is in charge of that in large part. So she's the expert here. Every one of our listings has a write a review button. And that link, the button goes to a place that you can write a review on the listing, on that community. That link can be shared via email. It can be shared in social media. It can be shared any place you want people to go for reviews. But in addition to that, we all know that can work and does work if you simply mount a campaign to gather reviews that way. In addition to that, we supply you with tons of additional tools if you're a partner of ours. So for instance, tool #1 is that we instantly send you a review alert every time a review is published, right? It comes out, it shows you what the review is. You can get it by email or text. We don't recommend that always because of the timing of some of the reviews, but by email is critical. You can get it by email. And in that email, there's a couple of buttons that are worth their weight in gold. One is to contest the review if there's inaccuracies, right? You can click the button and our team will investigate. And #2 is to publish a response, which is absolutely vital. If you really want to manage your online reputation these days, you need to be responding as much as possible to reviews. So get the reviews. Now, in addition to that, we are allied with a variety of services, reputation.com and several others that will allow you to monitor reviews and post responses as well. So we make it very easy for you to manage the review process. But then the next step is to get as many reviews as you can, right? You want to manage the ones you get. You want to respond to them, make sure that people see that you're actively involved. You want to contest ones that weren't really about you or weren't accurate or for some reason not from a consumer. Again, we only accept consumer reviews. Has to be from an actual client or their family, right? So it's somebody with personal experience. So we're constantly collecting those consumer reviews. We will weed out any others so you can't get your competitor trying to trash you and things like that. But we also give you access to a variety of resources to help you gather more reviews. There is a reviews generator in our partner portal, which is an emailing program that can help you send that link out. But the most important thing is we have a reviews program collection by phone. We have a whole team of people that can help you with that. We have all sorts of handouts that you can hand out with phone numbers, postcard size, flyer size, you name it, that you can hand out and ask for reviews. I recently, just last week, I had some things delivered for my lawn. I put some sod was delivered for a part of my lawn that we were resodding. And the delivery truck driver showed up, was very nice, wonderful, engaged me in conversation, handed me a postcard with a phone number on it and a website address. Said, you know what, I get incented by the reviews that we collect. Can you please give me a 5-star review if you like my service? And I said, sure. And just by doing this kind of stuff, we supply all that material. You can print as many as you want. We supply the templates and you print them out. We have a team of live agents ready to take that review and ask the appropriate questions, do a fantastic client satisfaction survey, if you will. We're constantly doing outbound campaigns as well to get that done as well, and we can partner with you on that as well. So we have lots of ways for you to elevate your reviews. And again, think of that stat that I showed earlier. Going from 1 to 2 reviews up to 15 or more makes a massive difference. And then obviously beyond that, even more, right? When I go looking for a place for my wife and myself to live, and I want to be in a great community, I'm going to look at the reviews and I'm going to see, well, what do other people think? If you've got none, it doesn't bode well, right? I may wind up doing a modern day drive-by. We also have a Caring Stars Award, which has taken the industry by storm for many years now. It is an award that's given every year based on consumer choice. There's rules that I'm not going to go through right now, but they're posted online. And it's outstanding to win this award, to be able to post it to your listings. There's also a press packet PR campaign that goes with it, right? You can put the badge everywhere, as well. There's additional features you can put on your website, all that kind of stuff. And people that wind up winning this award, and I'm challenging you, if you manage a property, if you own a property, you need to win this award this year. There's still time for this year to build a great reviews campaign and get a lot of good reviews and good consumer feedback. People that win this award, 2 times more inquiries, 3 times more move-ins across the board as a general stat there. So outstanding to win it, outstanding tool in order to be able to enhance your online listing. So again, 3 steps. You want to make sure that you're seen in the place where 55 plus, 62 plus seniors are looking, right? You want to make sure that we are looking for you in the right spot, or that we see you while we're looking for our parents and for other people. Second thing is you want to make sure that you're enhanced in those directories. And then third thing is you want to make sure that you have the reviews to back up what you say about yourself, that other people are saying that as well. So that brings me to my sales pitch here. What's it worth? We would love to invite you to become a partner of ours if you're not already. If you're already a partner, then you need to work on those 3 things. Work on your reviews, work on your listing. We'll help you to do that. But if you're not a partner, it really comes down to the basic question, okay, what's it worth? Well, that comes down to what's the value of each new tenant, right? I don't know your numbers. You need to answer these questions for yourself. And this is how you determine any marketing campaign is, what's your average lifetime value of a new tenant? How much do we earn off of signing up a new tenant, single or couple or family, whatever it is? When we get new tenants, what are they worth to us long-term? And then how much are we willing to pay? What percentage of that gross profit margin from each new tenant are we willing to pay to acquire those clients? And frankly, my experience in this business for many, many years is that it doesn't take much. If your listing brought you 1 new tenant each year, would it be worth the listing? And the answer is typically yes, especially when you understand that we are the best value on the internet. So here's my quick and simple special offer, straightforward, is that for us, it's simple math. If you want to list your property on one of our sites, again, caring.com or Senior Housing Net, it's $165 per month, or you can prepay the year for $1,800. That's for the entire year, for the review services, for the listing, right? Your phone number, trackable link to your phone number, website, the whole thing on there. It's some of the cheapest advertising online, especially when you consider our rankings. Or if you want to be on both properties, Senior Housing Net and caring.com, it's $200 a month or $2,000 a year if you want to prepay that. And same thing, you're on both properties, both Caring and Senior Housing Net, incredible traffic from both. So my offer to you is to take advantage of this. I'll give you a phone number in just a moment if you want to do that. But whether it's through us or in general, again, 3 steps. You want to make sure that you're being seen in the right vehicle, in the right audience. Number 2 is make sure that you enhance those listings. Again, they're not going to come to your website like they used to. And then number 3 is you want to make sure that you have an online consumer review program, hopefully in the largest place that people look for consumer reviews, which is caring.com. All right, we want to partner with you. If you want to partner with us, it's a very simple DocuSign agreement. You provide the information. It takes about a a day or two for us to get everything done. You simply sign the agreement. We get all the information, the pictures, the description, all that kind of stuff. There's some initial training about how to use the tools and things like that. And then calls and leads start flowing your way. So we look forward to that. Our promise to you is that we commit fully to our partnerships. We're constantly working with people, trying to help them to elevate their rankings, elevate their listings, being seen in a better light, getting more reviews. Denise, who's on the line here, champions our review process and is in charge of our reviews team, is phenomenal at working with people to work for different strategies and different ways to elevate your presence. It elevates you not only on our sites, but across the net when you have better reviews and higher quality of reviews. So with that, let's go to Q&A. We will, here's a phone number I'll pop up in just a few minutes if you want to get a hold of us. It's the 897-2433 number if you want to register to have your sites up there on either one of the sites. But in the meantime, happy to take some questions. We may not have that many today, but any questions that we have, we're happy to take them.
Okay, and while we're awaiting input from others, I just wanted to add thank you, Peter, for covering the reviews program, and let everyone know on the line that if you have any more questions about reviews, like for instance, any reviews that are currently on caring.com about your business, you can reach out to our team, and I'm going to put that contact information in the chat. If now would be a good time for anyone, if you have any questions about the information that Peter covered, we won't call you out. You will remain anonymous. So please feel free to ask openly any questions that you have. And I'm going to go ahead and put in the chat box how to reach the reviews team.
Yep.
There you go.
And while we're doing that, here's our contact information again. If you would like to reach out for listings, if you're not currently an enhanced partner of ours, you can email sales@caring.com. You can also dial 855-897-2433. And we, our account executives in your area are happy to work with you, go back through, show you the listings, show you how they would work, and get that working for you. And with that, let's, if we don't have any questions, let's go ahead and we can summarize here and then move forward.
Okay, great. And just want to remind folks that you can contact us after if you want to get your question privately answered. That's not a problem. But Peter, you want to go ahead and take us through your key takeaways from the information that you presented?
Absolutely. Today's 55 plus market is growing and changing. We're not acting like we used to, right? We're looking online a lot more. We're spending a lot more time looking at consumer reviews. You need to be seen on the sites that cater to senior living. Again, all the apartment sites are wonderful. A lot of them charge a lot of money to be on those sites, and they certainly can and will bring some business. We're not saying don't do that. But amongst your marketing, you need to be seen on the sites that cater to people that are older than, that are 55 plus and older. Caring dominates online and is building in this market. We are continuing to grow within our 55 plus market. We certainly dominate the independent living and assisted living and memory care markets and the 55 plus market as well, but we're continuing to grow that facet. We would love to partner with you. Those are the key takeaways today, and we very much appreciate your presence.
Thank you so much, Peter. Really appreciate you taking folks through the market today. We appreciate everyone taking time out of your busy schedule to listen to the insights Peter had to share. We would love your feedback. We're going to prompt you with a brief survey after this session, what you loved, what you'd suggest for future sessions. We really tailor the Digital Marketing Academy to the requests we get from our webinar attendees. So definitely take a moment to answer. It's only a few questions. Only take you a few moments, or just email us, sales@caring, or call the number. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.